Hi, this is Todd Pratt. I'm a physical therapist at the BodyWorks Therapy Center. And if you've ever struggled with back pain, I'm going to give you some things today that are going to help you cure that back pain. What it comes down to is changing your body mechanics and really revisiting those things that you probably already know but just haven't done in a long time. We're going to talk about butt dominance movements, we're going to talk about a neutral spine position, and we're going to talk about getting you out of your back pain. All of this without formal exercises. Are you ready for this? Good. What I've found over the years is that patients struggle to move from their hips. They tend to move too much from their spine, they initiate their movements from their low back, and this gets them into trouble. If we can all learn how to move the way we're designed to, which is from our powerful center of our hips, we will eliminate the stress on our lumbar spine and we'll actually have more power and more freedom to do the things that we enjoy doing. So if you want to come along with me in this adventure of relearning how to move from the right places and getting rid of your back pain, let's go ahead. Let's do this. So what are we talking about? A neutral spine position is the position that you would keep your low back in a neutral position. Not forward bent or flexed, not extended, but in a neutral, comfortable position. What we want to try and do now is maintain that neutral position throughout our movement pattern. Whether I'm bending or getting out of a chair or reaching for something, I don't want to lose that neutral position and go into a forward bend posture. Neutral means I move from my hips, not from my spine. Now we're built to move from our hips. Look at where the big muscle groups are in the body. Our hip muscles, our thigh muscles are meant for movement. Our back is not meant for movement. It's meant to stabilize. Small movements are good for it, but not primary movements, especially with weight in our hands and especially with forward bending and twisting. So if you can become more butt dominant in your movement, in other words, initiate your movements from your hips, you'll be using correct body mechanics the way we're designed to move. This can apply through a lot of different movements. For example, getting out of a chair, getting off of a bed, getting up off of a bench. If I initiate the movement from my hips and I sit down, I take a lot of stress off of my back and I use my legs the way they're designed to be moved. Getting back up, I'm not going to push, I'm going to lean into it, I'm going to push with my legs and elevate. From the side, what you'll see is that my back stays in a neutral position when I get up this way. So I go to sit down, I initiate first with my hips, I sit down this way. When I get up, I don't initiate by bending my head down or forward flexing, I initiate by sticking my hips out, I lean over my toes, and I stand up. The cool thing about this is, if you can do this every time you get up and every time you move, that becomes your exercise that keeps your legs in good strength. Then you don't have to work so hard at other exercises during the rest of your day. Let me show you the best way to get up out of bed. Tie your shoes and grab something light off the floor in a neutral spine position. If I'm going to go to lay down on my bed, using good body mechanics, I sat down with hip dominant movements. Now when I lay down, I'm not going to lay back on my back like I'm doing a sit-up or reverse sit-up. I'm going to go on my side first. I'm going to draw my knees up and I'm going to roll back to my back. Once you go to get up in the mornings, you first roll onto your side, let your lower legs drop over the edge, and then push up on the side. Very safe and protected for your back. That's the way we should move. Now, if I go to grab something light off the floor, let's say I drop my keys. What I can do is I can use a golfer's lift to pick that up. If you've seen guys and ladies play golf, when they knock that ball into the hole, they don't just bend over like this and grab their ball, do they? They've learned that if you have a hand on a club, or in our case a hand on the table, and you go to put one leg behind you, it's very easy to grab that with very efficient body mechanics. I'm using one leg, so I've got to have some balance, but if I can do that consistently, this leg strength is going to be great. And then I don't have to do formal exercises to keep that strong. Seen from the other side? I can do that and come back up again. All right? This is something you should also be able to do on both sides because you want to have strength that's equal on both legs. A muscle imbalance in your legs can really throw things off into your low back as well. Let me show you 3 different ways that you can put your shoes on without straining your back. Now, it may seem funny, but I have seen patients over the years who've done exactly that. In attempting to get their shoes or socks on, they've said, I've hurt my back, They're frustrated because it seemed like such a simple movement, and yet there they are. They're struggling with back pain. Now, if you sit down in the pattern we described, and you cross one leg over, this is an easy way to get to your shoes without forward bending from your spine. You do need to be aware of the position that your back is in, because it's very easy just to flex into this posture and then strain your back trying to pull the shoes on or off. That's one method. If you're laying down in the pattern we talked about, and you go to your back, you can also put your shoes on and your socks on in this manner. A third way to do it, you get up on sitting, and you actually get on your feet, is to kneel and tie your shoes in this fashion. All of these are safe because if you have a neutral spine, you're moving from your hips and your spine is not taking the pressure that would strain it. Alright, everybody seems to know that if they have to pick up something that's heavy from the floor, they should bend with their knees. Well, what does that really mean? Because I can stand like this, bend from my knees, keep my back in a neutral position, but then I can't get down under that box. When people get to this point, what tends to happen is to get the hands down, they will flex, and now we're in a bad position for the back, aren't we? We are designed to move from our hips and knees and ankles together. The best way to think about this is, again, initiate the movements from your hips and let your legs do the work. So again, neutral spine position. Let's let the hips dominate the movement or initiate the movement. And what I'm going to do is widen my stance, and I'm going to let my hips drive me down with my head staying upright. Now, if you've seen Olympic weightlifters, you'll know that this is the pattern they use, and these are the strongest people in the world. They'll go down, and right before they go pick up that heavy weight, their head comes up. That helps keep the back in a neutral position. That's what I would encourage you to think about. Hip dominant movements, keep your head up, not so much that you're extending your spine, but by keeping your spine in a neutral position. This will help you prevent back pain, this will treat the back pain you have, and this will cure what you've got going on. Alright, so now that you know how to get out of bed, put your shoes on, and move in the golfer's lift, and what we call a deep squat, which is to initiate movements from your hips and reach down, what about things that are left at a mid-range? Let's say you've got those cookies in the oven you can't get out of there because you just don't know how to get there safely. Well, you can still initiate your movements from your hips and do some reaching with this, right? The best thing to do, though, in a case like that is turn on a diagonal over the object that you're trying to get. For example, if that oven door comes down, cookies are in there, instead of hitting it face on, take a diagonal approach over that door. Reach in, grab that pan of cookies, bring it close to you, and then you've got it. Maybe that's a 20-pound turkey in the oven. Same thing applies. Or maybe you've got to reach out across something to get it. Let's say you want to get over the bed and grab that pillow that's way out in front of you. Well, it's not really close enough that you can reach correctly this way. What you can do, you can put a knee on the bed, maintain your back in a neutral position, maybe get your hand on the bed, and grab what you need to and pull it towards you, then come back to that neutral position and stand up with it. These are all safe ways to help take pressure off of your back while still moving from your center of movement or your hips. One thing we fail to do is we fail to use our rotators. What I mean by that is we tend to stand, lock our knees in, and twist when we go to reach for something. If this is something that you're familiar with, you understand that this is probably one of the reasons why your back is not feeling very good. If you want to help prevent back pain, avoid those twisting movements from your spine, especially in a forward bend posture. Well, how do you do that? If you can relearn how to use your hips in a pattern where you can use the rotation in your hips and not your spine, you're going to stay out of trouble. If this video was helpful for you, but you'd like more information, please contact me at thebodyworks123@gmail.com or 414-545-2561. This is Todd Pratt from The Body Works. Take care. God bless you.